Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Solo Leveling, which was your choice this week. And before we really kind of dive into it, we were having some technical difficulties, just having some fun in general, talking about all kinds of wonderful random stuff at the exact same time. If you want to catch a part of that wider conversation, you can go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $8 a month will get you access to that bonus content, or you can join us live every Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we go live, and we go on these wonderful little tangents and everything else. Or if you want to help support us through other means, you can go to shop.featuredanimepodcast.com and get yourself some nice swanky swag, or even better, just throwing this out there, Tokyo Treat. Now, Tokyo Treat would like to invite everyone to experience Japan from the comfort of their own homes through their snack box. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is Tokyo Treat, Jack? Well, let me tell you. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack box subscription service where you will get up to 20 of the exclusive limited edition and seasonally flavored Japanese snacks, including Japanese instant ramen and drinks that are only available in Japan for a limited time. And every single box comes with a cultural guide booklet containing Japanese culture information and an explanation of each snack, like its flavor profiles, ingredients, and allergen information, which honestly is really great to have, especially if you have specific dietary restrictions or preferences. This helps make sure you're not eating something that you can't or don't want to eat. And on top of that, every month, Tokyo Treat has a different theme, usually aligned with a season or a holiday in Japan, or promoting certain Japanese culture celebrations. So you don't have to worry about someone randomly going out there throwing things in a box that, they find at a local gas station or supermarket or something like that and just shipping it out. No. Every month is themed. And this month's theme is Okinawa Snackin' Oasis. So this month, Tokyo Treat invites everyone to get a taste of the island life and adventure to one of Japan's most popular getaway destinations, Okinawa. This month's box is fully packed with the tropical flavors and Okinawan favorites you don't want to miss. Discover the sweet island delicacies and Japanese local treats in this month's box. Now, in this box, you have wonderful treats like the Kit Kat cookies and cream, the Okinawa sea salt donut, and then one of my personal favorites, the Ariel sour cream and onion chips. I will tell you this right now, if they sent me an entire boatload of those chips, I can pretty much guarantee you I would demolish them all inside of an hour. Those were just honestly that good. But also another one of my favorite treats was the Crunchy Salty Caramel Bites. Those were delicious. Couldn't get enough of them. In fact, the only downside is that I demolished the box inside the same day that I actually got it. That's how great these treats were. I'm telling you, you get the box, you demolish it the same day, and then you just have to look forward to the next month. And you know what? Special for our listeners, if you use our affiliate link along with coupon code Featured Anime, you get $5 off that very first box. So $5 off your very first box when you use our affiliate link to start off on this wonderful journey to experience Japan from the comfort of your own home. All this wonderful information and everything like that, how to reach out to us and all that is in the show notes. And you can also go to featuredanimepodcast.com to get all this wonderful information. And now onto the meat and brotatoes. Solo Leveling is 12 episodes long. Producers for it are Aniplex and DC Media, just to name a couple of them. Studio is A1 Pictures. It's based off of a web manga. The genres are action, adventure, and fantasy. Now, for those of you who are already not aware of Solo Leveling from having listened to our past discussions, conversations, and everything like that, basically you are starting off with our main character, Jinwoo, who is known as the weakest hunter of all mankind. And they don't say that because he's just weak. He is literally basically a human wandering into these areas, these gates that are appearing in the world to fight these magical beasts that you have to be a hunter to be able to fight and even have a stand a chance against. Now, as a result of this, after going into this gate, there is an event that happens called Double Dungeon, and he ends up being faced with a choice after surviving the events of this Double Dungeon where he becomes a player, so to speak. Now, this is not an isekai in any stretch of the word. All right. He is not teleported or transported into another world. He is not even reincarnated, so to speak. He is just simply turned into this other character, and you can assume from how other people are going to view it or his own mental perceptions, at least at the beginning, is he has a reawakening, which is an occurrence that happens in that world. However, that is not what happens to him. And this is his journey for him growing stronger, leveling up, and being the only one that can level up. And this is his journey through that whole endeavor.
So I like it. I like this adaptation. I was very worried about how it would translate because I read the book. I'm short on chapters. I think I stopped. Actually, I can check. Give me one moment.
Just go. Don't worry about it. We don't care. Keep going. Go.
But I do.
You can talk about it after the fact. Anyways, as you were saying about the show, about the show, not the books, about the show.
Okay. So I was worried that it would not translate well. And I think it did. I'd like to think it did. There was a lot that changed from my experience, my expectation. But honestly, if you just watch the show, it's not bad. It's not no game, no life. I hope there's going to be a season 2. They left on a fairly decent point in the story.
They supposedly it's already been slated for 5.
5 seasons?
Yeah.
I can hope.
Supposedly.
5 seasons.
Supposedly, yeah.
Where'd you hear that from, if you don't mind my asking?
It was all over the place.
I didn't see it, so I was not
aware.
I mean,
like, we even talked about it in the Discord when it was airing, after it finished.
Oh, again, when was this? Like a month ago, 2 months ago?
Probably about 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Okay.
I mean, like it's literally like from a lot of things that are out there. I mean, like Solo Leveling 2 is supposedly slated for the end of this year, season 2.
Oh, good. So they're really pumping them out. That's good. That'll be good. That means it'll keep it in the public eye, and it won't get the overlord treatment where the next season comes out and it's you've lost the thrill for it. So yeah. I'm pleasantly happy, but I'm pleasantly surprised about that. So one of the things that I thought was quite unique is you're given the impression that the only reason he survived is because he was betrayed. And the only reason he was chosen was that he was betrayed, not that he outlasted or anything like that. And his brain and his instinct, his intuition, I feel like, is the reason why he's such an interesting character. Because from what I understand, he is the weakest. And it's not to say that being the weakest means he's a normal human. Yes, he's very, very close to a normal human. But awakening the first time gives you better endurance, gives you some kind of ability technically, either physical, magic, some kind of
for him it was basically non-existent. His stats increase in general didn't really increase. Like his mana level, even after he was built. His mana level didn't even really change even after he awoken. Like that's how weak he was. And he's hospitalized after every event. Now, betrayal, I wouldn't call it technically a betrayal. I do think he was done dirty. I mean, like, and you could venture to say he was betrayed, right? But I think it's a matter of, like, did they go out of their way to go around his back and knowingly backstab him, like set him up for all of this, for him to take this fall? No, they did not set him up for that.
Not initially, but they did later on in the story.
For the double dungeon?
No, not the double dungeon. I said later on in the story they did it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're talking about when he's going out there when he first meets Jinwoo,
Something like that, yeah.
or Jinho.
Jinho.
Yeah, when he first meets Jinho.
Eugene Ho, technically. But
I mean, like, are we going to be saying Jinwoo Song or Song Jinwoo? Because that is two separate names. Jinwoo and Song are two different names. Yu and Jinho are two separate names. It's like the first and last name.
No, I understand that, but from what whenever he's referenced, his whole name was referenced, and for me, the names are so similar. It makes me feel easier to follow by the dual name. I mean, it's just a quirk I have. Otherwise,
no,
I'm
that's
say all the wrong names.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to help clarify his full name, first and last, is Jinho Yu, and Jinwoo Song is the first and last name, and then you have Jin Ha Song, which is his sister, and then Gong Hee Go, which so Jong In Cho Ju Hee Lee, all right, Jin Chol Woo.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, unless you
Baek.
understand or you've followed it for a while, the names are so similar. It can be very easily confused unless you see them on screen.
Right. I like how you make that clarification, but when it comes to other animes, you don't bother make that distinction. You don't even care. You're like, whatever. You're going to throw out whatever names out there. I don't care. It's close enough. But this, you're like, oh, no, you have to give it the proper justice, Jack. You got to say the full name, bro.
I know the material behind it. So I have intimate knowledge of the series, and I read the book for the better part of 4 or 5 months. So I have a better grasp of who we're talking about.
You just want to try and tout some higher feeling of authority over it. Just admit it. Just admit it. Oh no! It's not Jinho. It's Jinho Yu, technically.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, it's just the way that so he was given, according to his own words, a assassin build. So he's got low HP, he's got low stats, he's got low stats regardless. He's a level E assassin, which is he
wasn't given an assassin build. He didn't start referencing himself as an assassin until much later on, after he started building his stats, and after he went for the job change quest too. He's like, that's not my build. I'm an assassin build. Like he built his stats towards that. But
if you'll notice, even before that, he's only able to acquire gems via a sneak attack. Like he can't go head on with anybody, with anything that's coming out of the dungeon.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's got an assassin build. That just means he has to be smart so he doesn't die.
He's got to. But smart so he doesn't die. So he has to hide and he has to do assassin-like things.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he has an assassin build. Like that is just him like surviving. That is like, I am specifically geared towards assassin. Like, bro, you're just going to die if someone accidentally sneezes at you. The dude almost dies every single raid. It's like every single time he goes, it's like if he was an assassin build, he wouldn't even have that close. CJ says he doesn't actually really kill anything before that, to be honest.
He's got 1 kill accredit to him. 1 kill on screen and 1 kill in the book.
Yeah. Not because he's an assassin, though. Not because he's an assassin.
Yes, true. Not because he's an assassin. It was an opportunistic, hey, I finally got a kill. Yes. And then he gets ambushed afterwards. Yes. But yeah, CJ also says that he's a leech, which is true. He's just an additional head, literally nothing more.
Yeah, and with a very specific cause. Let us point that out, too. He is only doing it, and they reference this in the books, because I know you're going to. All right?
No, I wasn't, but yes, I know what you mean.
Okay. He's doing it because of his mother, and he's trying to get the money because he has to pay for his mother and help pay for his sister's college. Like, it's like when he does it, he's like, it's not, I want to do it. It's, I have to do this. I need to do this.
If you're going to reference the books.
That's all of it right there was referenced in the series. I know the other reason why. And I also know that in the books, like you, in the books, he dreads having to go to the gates, and he only goes when he absolutely has to. I know. Everything I just said before that, though, is all in the show.
Yes, but he's not paying for his mom. It's a benefit of being a hunter.
Yeah. So, him being a hunter pays for his mom. Yes.
But they don't pay him. It's just a benefit. You and your extended family. Yes.
Exactly.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, I was going to say that in the anime, he's shown to be
I like how you're trying to split hairs. Well, technically, no, he is paying for his mom. You know how he's paying for his mom? Would you like to know how? Would you like to know how? With his life. Literally with his life. He is paying for her with his life. All right.
With his service.
The money from the gems used to pay for her treatment helps pay for the treatment and everything like that. And he is paying for his mom is what CJ says, right? Regardless whether or not it's a benefit, right? He is one way or the other, 100% paying for his mom. How he's paying for that, we'll leave that up to debate. He is 100% paying for her.
So I'm not sure if they showed it in the anime, but I have a feeling it was shown and I just wasn't paying attention. There are some people who go into the raids specifically as mules to collect resources while the fighters are doing other things.
They alluded to it with Jinho because that's what he was going to do. And they alluded to it when Jinwoo was recruited for that one that just needed to head before the lizard cut off the tail. Right. But yes, that is like his primary thing. And we may see more of that in season 2 or season 3 or whenever, the more that we see it kind of go on. But, you know.
Well, I was going to bring up the fact that was Jinwoo's main job, essentially. Yes, he was an extra head, but he other than being, for lack of a better word, is an extra head or a leech, his job was collection.
Right. CJ says they bring up the bill for his mom, so it's not a free service to hunters. It's just the fastest way to make money for being a hunter. And in the anime, he did actually reference saying, I need money for my mother's treatment and for her college, for his sister's college.
Oh, so I'm wrong. Wouldn't be the first time.
But even still, again, to reiterate, right? Even if it was a perk for being a hunter and he doesn't actually have to go, here's cash, right? Even if he didn't, and it was a perk of being a hunter, he is still, it is, he is, it is, exactly. He has to do it. So regardless of the matter, regardless of the fact, no matter how it's spun, he is paying for it in one way or another, in one form and another, whether it's blood currency or it's hard, cold cash. It's being paid for.
Blood currency. I mean, that's a good way to put it.
I mean,
that's a real good way to put it.
I mean, like, honestly, at that point, wow, he's having to get it. There's really not much of a difference.
Yeah. Although I'm real curious. I want your opinion. Do you think he has to pay for his own healing? Because the B-ranked healer shows up and starts healing a bunch of superfluous wounds that he acquired previously, that he didn't acquire on the particular journey that they were on there.
Happenstance, however, Juhi, the B-ranked healer, she was healing him. She can't, I don't think she can specifically restrict healing to a specific spot. I don't remember if they specified it in the books. I just know that she, like, when she casts healing, and healing is healing, right? You don't specify.
When she's casting healing in the anime, in the book, it explains more, but in the anime specifically, wherever her hand is, that specific radius is being healed. With greater healers, the radius becomes more. And with more focus, it becomes more. But she depletes herself to the point of utter exhaustion.
Yeah,
quickly.
But the level of which she's trying to heal someone also is vastly different too. I mean, like when she exhausts herself to that point as a B rank healer, which is really high. So to help clarify the class system, you have S rank, which is the top tier, and then you have A, B, C, D, E, with E being the lowest rank. She is a B, right, with only A's and S's above her. So she would be highly sought after, right? The reason why she goes on low rank raids and things like that is because she's scared. She's very timid. She's doesn't want to really venture out beyond that because of how she is in general. Courage wise, mentality wise, she just can't handle anything that hard. When we do see her healing to the point of exhaustion, like way past the point of exhaustion, it's because she is trying to heal Jinwoo, who has a severed leg and is like bleeding out, and she is like pumping magic out like no tomorrow to try and heal him.
Now, what I found was interesting, specifically about, well, it was mentioned in the books too, but what I thought was really cool and interesting was the fact that each level, A, B, C, D, E, and S, you're stagnant. You don't go up, you don't go down, which makes him so unique. But even in those levels, it's not a flat, you're just a B. And if you're a little better, you're an A. No, there's you're the top of the Bs, the lowest of the Bs. Like a top C has the ability to beat a low B. It's not easy, but they
also point out
chances there.
Yeah, they also point out like they do. I'm glad you brought that up too, because they do talk about that, and they do specify the only way you can improve yourself isn't through leveling up or getting strength through the normal means. It's through technique and improving yourself as an individual, not so much as your power level or anything like that. That's never going to change. It's like if you have 100 mana when you first awaken, you're always going to be that. If you're an E when you first awaken, you're always going to be an E. And again, you know, what makes him unique is the fact that he can level up, that he can go up, right? And he is called a player. Also, like no one else has this ability at all. No one has the ability to become stronger or gain. So if you're an A rank, like that's it. You're an A rank.
Yeah, and you won't ever advance. But the thing I really liked about the way they showed Jinwoo was the fact that he while still being an E ranked member, he still had a good clear brain. Like his decision making skills, his thought patterns were still above the other people who were now facing life and death crises that he faces every day. So he's used to it, you know. But when the B and the C's, when the D and the C are facing it for the first time in the double dungeon, they're freaking out because they're like, I'm going to die. I don't know what I'm going to do. They lose their mind. Whereas Jinwoo is like, it's a regular Tuesday for me, so let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that even though he's the lowest ranked member, one, he was the deciding factor on whether to even attempt the double dungeon. And two, when it was in a pinch, yes, they ended up leaving him behind. Per his request, I might add. So he was noble. But it also it was interesting to me because even though he was lowest in power, the strongest guy there deferred to him as far as advice and thought process. He's like, hey, you figure something out.
Yeah. His level head really helped set him apart in regards to that. Yeah. And again, you know, right. Like it's not that he was betrayed. Couple of the people, like he told him, was like, hey, get out of here because of, you know, I'm not going to be able, what can you do? Right. I have no leg. Yeah. She can't walk. Yeah. Well, you just gotta leave me behind.
Let's set up the scenario correctly.
Right. But before that, though, okay. I mean, like where the betrayal whole mentality, I can totally understand, right? I can see like because the other characters for the double dungeon and everything like that, for what happening is like, oh, I gotta leave and I have a family. It's like everyone's got a family, and that's the one thing I never understood, right? In every anime, every show, every movie, doesn't matter. I have a family and fill in the blank, but it's like, whoa. Like if it's on the other shoe, let's flip the roles. You really think people are gonna care about? It's like you're like, oh, I have a family, and that justifies it. If someone's using that exact same excuse with you, would you care?
No, not even 100% a little bit.
Not, right? So I never understood those excuses, right? In the movies and shows and everything like that. I never understood it simply because it's always like, hey, you know what? I have a family. Please don't do this. I have a family. It's like, bro, you were ready to kill me. And I have a family. That didn't matter to you. Why should I instantly care? Right?
Yeah. Empathy goes both ways, you know?
Right. So,
and, you know, I understand where you're coming from with that. And I kind of see where it is coming from, but at the same time, you got to also see it from his point of view. He's never had the guy who ran out the first time because he had a family. Never once had to think about I might not make it back. Never once, because he was strong enough and he always went to low enough dungeons that it wasn't a danger to him. It was more of a thrill than anything else.
Oh yeah.
Now, even though the person you're following has been correct on every point in this dungeon, you still don't trust the fact that he might be right. Yeah. And to give you an idea of the scenario we're talking about, in the double dungeon, there are 3 rules that they follow, and they're convoluted and they're not quite clear. But Jinwoo was able to figure out, oh crap, do this. Hey, all right, next thought, do this. Don't do that. Oh, that's wrong. And the last one, he goes, I don't know if this is the proper thing to do, but this is my best guess. And I think that right there made him lose the confidence of the other people there. And at the very end, when you need at least a minimum of 4 people.
Oh yeah.
When the 4th person left, he's like, you know what? Someone's going to have to die. I'm the obvious choice. I can't run. I've lost a leg. I've damn near lost an arm. I can't. It just unfortunate circumstance. I drew the short stick. But knowing you guys can survive makes me happy. Tell my mom I tried. Tell my sister I love her. Have fun.
Yeah.
And then the beautiful part is he didn't give up, even at what we assume is the very end of his very short journey as an adventurer, as a hunter. He remodels, in my mind, what it is to be a true hunter. And he goes over and like, we're hunters. We hunt you, not the other way around. And even though I'm weak, even though I'm disabled, even though I'm this, even though I'm that, I'm not making it easy for you. I'm taking at least one of you guys out.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like there's a kind of timer in there that goes off. And
well, yeah, they reference it as a timer, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, that's not the last time that you actually see that type of mentality. And like, that's also kind of like the beginning of the end too, for his, I want to say, innocence personality. Yeah. He's very happy-go-lucky. And you see this transition, you see this change as it progresses on. And I love that in the anime, they definitely point this out. I love that they bring it up and talk about it, right? So when like after Jinwoo is betrayed, right, and he goes through that betrayal portion of it, right, and he meets Jinho, he runs into Juhee again, and this time he also runs into like the guy that ran away, the older guy, Kim, right, and the other guy, the leader of the group that lost his arm, Chiyul, right? Sure. And the guy that lost the arm, red hair, right? Mage. Anyways, I like that he points out because he's fighting basically a corrupt Hunters Association guy who killed convicts, because convicts in that world, if you're power and you have the ability to be a hunter, you can reduce your sentence by going on these raids. Mm-hmm. And so this guy Kang, he goes and he kills for money, for pleasure, honestly, is what he largely does it for, because of the thrill. He kills, and One Arm points out Jinwoo's change, right? It's like not just physically how he's changed, which he has changed a lot physically.
He's gotten taller, he's looking better.
Yeah, his hair's changed, everything about him's changed. But they also point out, like, man, he is, in the short amount of time, because honestly, it has not been that long of a time. It has not been a massive stretch of time from the double dungeon to that point, right? It's like you would think it's been years or whatever, and it's not. It has not been years. It's been what, like a couple of months?
If that. I would say I would say at the very most, well, a couple months is too much time in my mind. At the very most, I'm going to say it's been a month.
Yeah.
4 weeks maximum.
Yeah.
Because
it's pointed out
he still has to go to dungeons.
Right.
Like he still has to go to dungeons. He can't spend all his time in the
Well,
hospital.
I would say probably a couple of months because they do reference him being in the hospital for almost a month.
Okay. Maybe, I'm wrong, but maybe 2 months would be my limit on that.
Yeah, definitely no more than 2 months. Definitely because he barely gets out of the hospital and he gets called on a raid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he ends up.
My point going back to it though is it's pointed out that in such a short amount of time he had to make a bunch of drastic, life-altering decisions. Like not just like, oh, which pair of underwear am I going to put on today? Like, do or die, I will live or die in this particular situation type of choices. And it's pointed out what his entire demeanor change, his vocal point change, and everything like that. And points it out to Juhi as well, the B-ranked healer. The exact same thing is like he had to have gone through so much and he would have had to have endured so much in just such a short amount of time to go through a change like this. And you have to also kind of keep in mind too, it's not just from the point from he became the player on, it's from the point of the double dungeon start at that halfway point, basically, when they got put in to that precarious situation. Right.
Oh yeah. He had to change
all the way to that point. Right. So it's beginning to end. It's a couple of months and beginning to end. Massive changes, massive life altering decisions, massive like self-reflection, regret, and everything like that on top of it too.
Well, what's interesting to me is also, well, not interesting. What's funny to me is he gets out of the dungeon. He somehow survives, goes through a list of becoming a player and whatnot. Very first day, he's got a task to do, and he's like, "Nah, I'm all set. I'll do it later. I don't want to run 10 kilometers. I don't want to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 squats. Do I look like Saitama?" And
thank God you brought that up, because that's where my mind went. Because isn't that what Saitama does? 100, 100, 100, and then a 10-kilometer run, right?
Yep, that's actually a direct reference. When I read the manga, manhwa, it's pointed as an author's note that it was a direct homage to Saitama and One Punch Man.
Okay.
I was like, this is so cool. I love the cross reference.
I love that, man. Killer.
Anyway, what ends up happening is he goes to the penalty zone where instead of running, 10 kilometers, he has to survive for 4 hours. That's the job. Survive. Hey, penalty, you die. Oh no. And he's got these earthworms straight out of like Tremors. And if you haven't seen Tremors, it's an older movie. With Kevin Bacon, I reckon.
Earthworms, they're giant like centipedes.
Centipedes, yeah.
Not like Tremors.
You don't think? I thought Tremors were centipedes.
No, they were giant worms.
They were worms?
They were worms.
Okay. They had maws and everything, like mouths and teeth and anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like the best reference would be the best
what would
reference.
Be better than Tremors.
CJ brought up Dune, the giant worms.
But I just said worms, and you're like, no, they're centipedes.
Yeah, they are centipedes. I mean, like, but you're talking about what would be better than Tremors. I mean, like, if we have to make a reference, right?
Well, no, because the centipedes were hunting him.
Yeah,
similar to Tremors. Dune was just if you messed with their stuff, they came to get you, and they weren't massive like Dune. Dune was like mountainous.
Yeah, the centipedes in there were big. They're not tiny. They're not small.
No, they're not tiny, but they're not mountainous either.
They're a lot
in
bigger
Tremor,
than
you had
Tremors.
to use an elephant gun. You had to use an elephant gun just to take one out on accident.
Yeah, but like an elephant gun wouldn't even scratch those. Like that's how big they were in comparison.
Well, I mean, you also got to figure they're also monsters, so they're not going to get scratched anyway, unless you're stronger. But I digress.
They're big centipedes. All right, that's all they are.
They were big, and they were hunting him.
Yes.
So that's kind of where that comes from. But yeah, again, the reason I bring up Tremors is the Tremors were these worms were hunting these people. So just like the centipedes were hunting Jinwoo, and you just see him running and just sheer exhaustion. And what I really liked about the show was the fact that he was gone for 4 real hours. There was no, oh yeah, you were gone for a split second and you came back. No, 4 real hours he was gone. The nurses were going crazy trying to find him, only to have him like collapse in his room. Like, where were you? I don't know. I was blah 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 blah. And so what ends up happening is he survives it, and then he realizes it's no joke. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. I got to get on it.
Oh yeah,
and he grows abs. He gains 2 inches of height or more.
To be fair, it's not because he's doing that though. All right.
No, it's not.
Let me rephrase it. Let me phrase it properly. Hang on. It's not only because he's doing that. He's doing that, and he's getting those gains, but it's not because he's doing that. It's because he's getting the rewards from doing that, which are stat points that he can then invest in himself. Yes.
So one of the things, do you mind if I bring the book into this just for a minor?
No books are allowed, sir. You know I can't read. That's why I watch only subbed anime.
So the thing I don't know why they didn't put in there, or they might have, but it was so brief that it didn't really register, is every time he completes the 100, 110, he gets to put percentage points on his strength and percentage points on his agility and percentage points on his stamina. But they're so minuscule. They're like 0.001% boost.
No, they don't reference it like that, and they don't
in the book.
In the book, they don't even reference it like that. They don't talk about percentage points. They say points in general.
No, he gets just points, yes, but he gets a percentage boost as well. And it's so minuscule it doesn't even bother him. But he notes that when he gets to hundreds of points, the percentages will add up.
I mean, I don't remember them ever referencing percentages in there. I honest to God, I don't.
I might be wrong. I hope I'm not, because I could have sworn that was one of the cool parts for me.
Yeah, I don't. I know that they talk about giving you points. You get points, and then you get like a little fun box, and you open it up, and it's usually junk in every single one. So, and they do reference that, right?
Is it junk, or does he able to use it later?
I don't know. How often can you use a used lottery ticket, or a pen, or a paperclip?
I mean, MacGyver could use them.
My guy ain't MacGyver. I'll tell you that right now.
No, he's not. Oh man, yeah. So I just thought it was an interesting concept, and I felt like it was in the book. I could be wrong. CJ's saying I'm wrong, but and you're saying I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it on Discord if I can find it. But yeah, he's gaining all these stats. Like it's funny. He's like, he puts one point into strength, and he's like, my muscle just got bigger. What's going on?
Right. He notices like a physical difference, and that's where the physical changes come from. It's from those points. And so that's why he's able to so drastically change over such a short period of time, is because it's not that he is like going through puberty a second time. He is literally investing points into his physical self, and it's causing him to grow exponentially. Strength, features, speed, perception, everything. And every single stat has a very unique particular percentage or a particular aspect to it. And that's where the assassin build comes in. That's where he starts referencing an assassin build when he starts fighting, and his speed and everything like that. Cause he's like strength and speed and endurance. Cause he's like going for quick power, fast kill, not much else. And even when he's, and we're getting into spoiler territory towards the end, but even when he's talking about when he goes through his job change quest and everything like that, they don't, he references and even states like, I have an assassin build. Like, what are you giving me a magic build for? That is my least invested stat. I am not equipped for this. Why would you give this to me? Right.
Yeah. And it's funny because it does kind of force him into one thing. But at the same time, if he were to, he references as well, like, well, maybe the biggest weakness of a mage is their
strength,
and agility and endurance and health.
Yeah,
So if I can buffer those, then I could be a kick-ass battle mage.
Well, yeah, I mean, like he's already got those buffed, and his thing is he's like, well, mages typically they don't focus on being able, like if you're in close quarters combat, you're SOL. For him, it's the exact opposite. If you're in close quarters combat with him, you're SOL. I mean, like it's like my magic may be OP. I may be off the charts. I may be able to dominate you without having to touch you, but the second you get close to me, you will be dominated 100%.
Oh yeah. No, he's an all-rounder, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it just looks so cool. And the idea of I've always liked overpowered characters. I've always liked thinking I could become an overpowered character in games. And my biggest thing is I always try to game the system to get the best rewards, to get the best outcome. I've done a lot of research, more than I should have, on games that mean nothing now. But at the time, they were everything. Like in Diablo, I tried becoming the best necromancer, and then I realized they're not really that good late game. They're fantastic early game. And then I tried Druid, and I bought the books. I did the research. I watched YouTube videos, and I didn't really pave my own path like I think I would like to. Whereas in these animes, he doesn't really have a choice. He's got only him to rely on. Yeah. And what I thought was kind of curious and unique to this book, human life really doesn't matter all that much. And it's a stark reminder that in this story, people die all the time.
Oh yeah.
By the tens of hundreds. And,
oh yeah.
And if you're part of the association, then your family gets a kind of a payout, if you will. But it just wasn't the way things work is very realistic and very stark, you know?
It is. But they also leave the anime completely on a cliffhanger, so to speak.
Oh, big time.
I mean, like, why wouldn't you, right? Like, why would you totally not leave it on? That's no game, okay. No so all the praises, all the positive things aside, right? Like we're leaving out a lot of details, and watch the show. It's a great show. You should check it out.
Highly recommended. 100%
recommended. However, I do have a couple things that kind of like irked me. That I wish they, kind of ventured on a little bit. Took the time to explain a little bit. Right? It's like, I can't use the shop now. And then all of a sudden, he's just like randomly pulling out potions and all this other stuff. Everything else, like all out of the way. He's like reaching into the ether, pulling out a potion. He's like, glug, 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 pour this down your gullet, brah. It's like, bro, why doesn't he just like, hey, here, drink this or something like I understand why, read the books. I understand why he doesn't just like hand homeboy a potion and tell him to drink it or anything like that. You don't understand. Yeah. But I feel like they could have I don't know, maybe ventured that a little bit. Like, would have been a nice little thing to being like, oh, he can't hand potions to people so they can drink it. As soon as he hands it, it disappears. Nothing happens. However, he can say, hey, close your eyes and tilt your head back and let me be a little creepy and pour this down your gullet. And it totally works, right? You're just left with that creepy point. He's like, hey, bro, yeah, open your mouth and close your eyes, open your mouth and just take what's going to come.
Just trust me.
Trust me. It's
trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. I got this. So they're at a cafe. All right. And Jinwoo's lightly cuts homeboy's cheek and he goes, close your eyes and open your mouth. And he pours this fluid down his throat. He's like, oh, my cut's gone. How he gets that fluid. I mean, like, you don't know it's from a potion shop. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't know. Homeboy could have just like randomly pulled something up out of nowhere. Like, boom, here, magic potion. Just like that, like out of nowhere. He's just like comes up. He's like, listen here, boy. I want you to close your eyes, tilt your head back and open your gullet. I'm going to pour this fluid right down your throat.
Oh, man. It'll be okay.
Just it'll be all right. Shh. Let it be natural.
Let it be natural.
That's what he says as he slowly caresses his cheek with a blade. It's like, oh, I cut you. This drink will totally help with that. This will help.
Let me fix it.
Not only that, I could give you a nice potion to revitalize you.
Oh, man.
blows into his ear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe not.
Now,
maybe not blow into his ear, but you get the point. I mean, like it totally comes off wrong without the context behind them experimenting and going, "Hey, here, drink this," and like the whole thought process behind it, and him unlocking the shop and everything like that, and how he's like able to make money aside, like there's a lot of like side stuff that the book really kind of goes into details for. The 12 episode series was great. It was really well done. I enjoyed it. It's just a lot of the nuances, a lot of the side stuff that they kind of reference or allude to, or they just kind of show you where you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, totally random. Here you go.
Well, one of the things I have a question for you. What did you think about the rune stones? Sorry.
Could
How
you
they give
elaborate?
extra abilities. So the things he crushed, like the teleportation
No, I'm saying, like, could you give me like what is your question? What do you mean? What did I think about them?
So he got the stealth rune, right? And he was able to crush it. So one of the things that the book differs with the anime is I don't think they mentioned you can purchase them. You can find them in stores, and you can and in dungeons and whatnot, and you can purchase them.
Yeah, they don't reference that in the anime, which again, I mean,
well, my curiosity was, do you think they should have?
I mean, like they reference a lot of other stuff in there, right? And I feel like him being able to get something like that which is a way for you to be able to increase yourself, right? Aside from the equipment and gear and technique and things like that, this being one of those things, right? I do feel like if they referenced it in the anime, it would have downplayed the significance of it, because they only referenced it in the anime a couple of times, or not a couple of times in the book, a couple of times. Other than that, they never broach the topic. Like they never talk about it. They always talk about equipment or everything like that. Oh, this equipment was made from this. This was made from that. This was made from this. But they never talk about rune stones aside from that, like initial discussion about it.
Yeah. Well, so here's why I bring it up. You know how his buddy, Eugene Ho, was always decked out in the most expensive gear he could buy, even though he couldn't really walk in it a few times.
Yeah.
He could have spent the exact same amount of money or resources and purchased ruins to increase his personal ability, which leads me to the next idea of, if you're wealthy and let's say you're rated C and you're wealthy, you could spend the money to get S-rated abilities. It'd be wasted on you because you're only a C-ranked person, and your abilities wouldn't be all that great to begin with. Like your strength, stamina, all that stuff, they're already fixed. But if your strength is fixed, but you have a stealth rune with a final attack rune, with a critical hit rune, things like that, you could definitely raise your abilities up to possibly even a B rank. Or if you had, let's say you were able to get S rank healing abilities, but one use, you're a one-shot cannon.
Well, here's the thing, right? I feel like the reason why you wouldn't want to do that is because, take the stealth rune like you had brought up, right?
Yep.
Jinwoo specifically says activating it costs 200 mana, and then it's 1 mana a second to use it, right?
Yes.
If you have it and you have a strength build and you're not going to have much in the way of magic, and say you only have 190 points of magic and you bought a stealth rune,
you wouldn't even be able to use it. Yeah, that's
you would
true.
never be able to use it.
That's factually accurate. And you wouldn't know unless you've got the system to tell you how much you've got versus how much you've used. You wouldn't even know prior to using it. So you're right. That makes a lot of sense.
It's a total unknown, right? So like, yeah, they're expensive, and it's like for someone who really wants to take the gamble on it, right? And they do invest heavily and talk a lot about the equipment. However, for the runes, it's like, it's a total gamble. It's like you can have it, you can have that ability, but you also run a very good chance, a very, very big chance of you never being able to use it, because fill in the blank, you may not have the particular stats to be able to utilize that at all.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Also, I need to redact what I said earlier. You were 100% right. There is no percentages. That was in another book I read, very similar to this one. The title was Unlimited Power number
Gotcha.
2, Rangers Domain, I think it was. But yeah, no, I apologize on being wrong about that one.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all good.
But you make very good counterpoints to having the use of ruins, but at the same time, the ruins themselves were going for an exorbitant amount of money.
Oh yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the stuff he can buy in the store could be sold for a similar amount of money. Maybe not individually, but he could amass that kind of money.
Yeah.
And then he could essentially cheat the system and get a bunch of ruins that way. Ruins. Not a ruin, but a ruin.
Yeah, no. I mean, like,
he doesn't. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't, but not in the anime at least.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to save money.
Yeah. So.
But like he's getting 300, what was it? 300 billion, 30 billion, valued 30 billion building.
Yeah, 30 billion building. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I mean, like, again, like the nuances, the lack of some of the finer details and everything like that to kind of help explain some of the information that's out there for it, I feel like is kind of lost. So, I mean, like, that's the only drawback on it is the fact that they just, there's a lot for, it's so compressed. It's so short. So they obviously have to cut out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I just hate that they had to cut out a lot. It would have been better if it was a 25 episode season.
Oh, dude, you realize how happy I'd be?
That would have been great. It wouldn't have felt, it was good. It was fast paced, but it felt rushed.
Yes. Yeah. They threw a lot of information in you. I'm actually, given it's only a 12 episode, I'm really happy on where they ended because I was so concerned that they weren't going to get to the job evaluation. The only thing on the job evaluation that I could have sworn that happened before that didn't happen in the anime. Well, I'll talk about it in the post show.
All right. So I feel like this is a good spot for a rating, sir. On a scale of up to 10, how would you rate this?
Out of 10, I'm going to give this a 9. And I'm not giving it a 10 because there are certain discrepancies that I feel like would have benefited the show to be told, to be more understood. And I don't really think they needed a 7.5. I think they could have taken that extra time to kind of flesh out his, not only his abilities, but certain things in there, you know, that I feel like were skipped. So I feel like 7.5 was wasted for no other reason than they just didn't need it. That time could have been used better.
Yes.
Progressing the story and kind of fleshing out certain other things.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but other than that, it's a fantastic adaptation to a book that I literally purchased an application specifically for this book.
Okay.
The only reason I think it was web novel was because I was looking for solo leveling. I had heard so many good things about it. And the book definitely lives up to the hype. And the anime is doing a very good job at keeping pace.
Okay. So 9?
And 9. And you?
I'm also going to go with a 9. It was great. It's in terms of the book definitely did make me want to watch this. I'm glad how they did it. What is keeping it from that 10 mark is the fact that they left out so much. There's a lot of information that they didn't really share with you in the series. The 7.5 episode, which is really kind of weird and unique for it, that they didn't really need in there. Also, if anyone's watching it dubbed, because they have it dubbed and subbed, if you get to the 7.5, they did not dub that episode. So if you're like Rick, and we were talking about it in the pre-show, if you're like Rick and you're like, oh, they only dubbed half of it, don't worry. They dubbed the whole thing. They just didn't dub the 0.5 episode. So you can watch it in both English and in Japanese. So you have your choice of options there for you.
I'd also like to point, I don't mean to interrupt, but I also like to point out the voice acting in the Japanese subtitled version, very, very, very good. I'm curious. I'd like to rewatch it in the dubbed. I will with my wife because I want to know exactly how the later episodes are, where that you need passion, for lack of a better way to put it. He has
passion. Don't worry about it. Anyways, 9 for me, 9 for you. They have passion. You're going to go back and rewatch it. Next week's choice. It comes by way of email from Brad, who emailed us and reached out to us after having listened to a couple of the episodes, and he was actually surprised that we did a review on Tokyo Ravens, which is a pretty old one for us. We haven't talked about Tokyo Ravens in a while, but it is one of their favorite series. It's not something they can recommend to most for many of the reasons that we stated, and it's an odd series for sure, but they do recommend we check out It's a science fiction, fantasy, romantic dramedy called Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere. There's a couple seasons out for it. We're going to do season 1 part, basically the first part of it for what's out. So season 1, and it's a 2-season adaptation of a part 5 of a multi-universe, multi-time period science fiction light novel series.
That's a mouthful, and it honestly sounds really interesting. So I'm
right.
looking forward to this
so it's basically from Sunrise, basically animated a Shakespearean kaiju fight is what it boils down to. Right?
Am I hearing time traveling grandchildren? Is that where we're going with this?
No, we're not talking about time traveling vampire granddaughters. Okay,
vampire hunting granddaughters.
Yeah. Anyways. The main protagonist story is I feel like you may like this, judging from the email. We'll talk about the email and go into more details about it when we're getting ready to actually talk about the show next week. We'll talk about it in the pre-show. So if you want to join us, hang out with us and hear that more in-depth conversation, you can hang out with us. We stream Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us next week for Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere. Thank you for the recommendation, Brad. Very much appreciated. So we're going to start off with season 1, and then the next episode after that will be season 2. So we're going to do doubleheader back to back, kind of like how we usually end up doing it when we have multiple seasons out that are ready for viewing right away. We just knock them out. And then later on in the future, a few years from now, we'll eventually get around to season 3 if season 3 comes out.
Yeah.
If you feel like we did Solo Leveling too much justice, not enough justice, got everything right, something wrong, pick your flavor, whatever it is, feel free to reach out to us. All our contact information is available in the show notes. You can email us, all that other stuff, or go to featuredanimepodcast.com and reach out to us. If you want to help support us, help us grow, and here's some of the pre-show content that we usually do with every episode. You can go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month to get you access to that bonus content. And if you want to get yourself some nice tasty treats too, you can go to Tokyo Treat and using our affiliate link along with Featured Anime for the coupon code, $5 off that very first box, and you get yourself some nice delicious tasty treats, and they are worth it, I promise. And also, if you want to watch Solo Leveling along with everything else, we do have an affiliate link for Crunchyroll in the show notes. Click on there, take you to Crunchyroll, sign up for their trial, and check out Solo Leveling. It is well worth it. It is worth watching it. I will tell you that right now. Obviously, Rick agrees with me. Both of us gave it a 9. And for everything else, you can go to featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick. We'll see you next time.